Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today we are in the Lego room. It seems like a while since we were last here, and we're going to be doing an edition of Fairground Fridays, where hopefully I'm going to get one or two of these rides in their final position. Touch wood. So building all of these wonderful rides is only part of the project, of course. Getting them all together in a cohesive sort of scene going around, spinning, whirring, and all the rest of it is still to do. And I've got quite a big area to fill, but I've also got a heck of a lot of rides as well and things and so on. So let's look at the ingredients of what we've got to play with today. We've got Little Robin, we've got our Circus Ringmaster, we've got our Bedoying Buzzer, we have got two wonderful ninjutsu spinners, which I need to actually add to this ride at some point. Whether we do that today or not, I'm not sure. We've got loads of bits for the pirate roller coaster to help install that, and the thing itself is underneath the table as I speak, just because I've run out of room. We've already sort of placed the bumper cars. We've definitely placed the carousel. We've got the hooker duck there. We've got the little space rocket ride there. We've got the wonderful Ferris wheel, the huge roller coaster. And then also to add, apart from ticket offices and strength machines and tents, we've got Euros, we've got Monster Burger, we've got Fortune Teller. What's that one? The Funny Octopus ride. The, what was that one called? Turbo Tumbler, Space Spinner, the Ninjago ride. Can't remember if we came up with a better name for that. Something to do with ninjas. Our Venus Fly Drop, our Pirate Ship. What else have we got? The Wheel of Fortune, our Duckies Dizzy Ducks ride, our Shooting Gallery, our Chair ride, which we are going to be changing half of the pieces on. That's still not done. And our Escape from the Ice Queen ride. And I've even got, would you believe, two more rides up my sleeve. Whether we're going to have room to have all of those in here, it doesn't look good, does it? I do have a bit more room behind there that I'm going to push that back on. And I think that's where I'm going to start. Just so I don't have to prop this entire huge ride up on 3 brick height like I do all the others, to hide all the motors and the wires and things like that in a sort of cavity, which you can kind of just see there. I'm going to use a spare tabletop that I've got just to place on top of the existing tabletop, just to raise it up. Now, there are some other things I need to do to this actually. I need to fill in all that gap in the middle that's got nothing on it with bright green plates, so it's sort of all joined up. But I was also thinking about this whole bit down here. It's very ugly, and, well, it isn't actually very necessary. Because I have a motor just powering it here direct onto the chain, which I will have to disguise in due course, everything from there backwards isn't required. We've actually got the axle there that would be turned by the sort of turn handle, one of these, and there's kind of the lane shifter bit, and there's all sorts of other stuff that I really just don't need. So, I'm wondering whether it's even worth bothering pulling all that out, or whether I should just conceal it with some other rides or so on. So I don't have to do that today, but maybe you could let me know what you think, whether it's worth me pulling this ride apart at all. Probably not. So I think the first thing I'm going to definitely do today is get a tabletop on top of here and get this on top of that. So it's going to be a bit of a juggling exercise since I've got absolutely no space, as you can see. And then I think the next thing I want to do is put the pirate roller coaster in, because it's the next biggest. Put it in kind of landscape like that, or portrait if we look at it like this, but basically side on. So you'll kind of get on it on this corner, and then the high bit will be up here, and the water dunking bit down there, if that makes sense. It will soon, if not. And I'm hoping that the sort of high bit of it will, I don't know, kind of get pretty close to some of this, but we'll really have to see how that works out in due course. Right, yeah, tabletop, that's first. Actually, in clearing up for the tabletop, I may as well tidy these away by putting them into position on the Ninjago ride. I've been really looking forward to doing this ever since getting the idea and doing the order for them. And I haven't done this yet, so have I put them the right way around? Well, we'll have to see. But that looks pretty good. So all I need to do now is press the button. Oh, and that looks really good fun, doesn't it? It looks pretty dangerous, actually. A lot more fun I might need to give the ninjas in the middle of each sort of whirlwind a little weapon or something like that to make them even more spiky. Oh, but it's definitely a really interesting sort of movement, isn't it? Well, that wasn't my idea, so I definitely own a massive bedoing to the person who submitted that. Wow, well, that definitely has worked. It's made these wooden sort of training things look much, much more exciting. Yeah, I don't know if we even need the buildings anymore. Cool. Well, that was interesting juggling. Now I've just got to slide it into position, hopefully. And here is the roller coaster and table in position, looking good, raised up on the new table as they are. But I think we've got a new problem. This table is too big. Look, we've got this great big unused lip of table around the side and an even wider one all around the front. And that is space that is, well, needed for all of the cavities underneath all of my rides, so all the workings can be stored and hidden away and all the rest of it. So I would only be able to put ones that kind of didn't need that cavity, of which there are a few. I did design some so they could work like that one there, and the Venus drop one there, and so on. But most of them do need the cavity. So if that's the case and it's that big, well, we're just not going to have enough space to use all the cavity ones in just that area there and this area here at the front. So I don't think that idea of using a table to support the big coaster is going to work. So I think we're going to have to go back to plan A, which means I'm going to have to juggle absolutely everything, including that tabletop again, and kind of prop up this whole roller coaster on, well, bricks and base plates. What a nightmare. So on to plan B then. Or really, should I say back to plan A, because this was always my original plan. And before I describe what I'm going to do, I know a lot of you bright sparks are going to suggest that there is a device called a saw, and the saw can be used to cut wooden tables to a smaller size. I don't really want to do that because I can use that table. I said it was spare, but I'm going to have this one, which is completely covered with rides, as a double height one lower, much lower than the fairground level for all of the sort of underground scenes that I want to have, and then one pretty much at the level it is now. So it will go to good use, and I figure this is just as easy. I do have most of the things I need. So what is the plan? Well, first of all, I'm going to use these bright green plates to fill in the gap in the middle. Then I'm going to use a combination of all these base plates, these three corners that I don't need, that I got in a sort of bulk buy when I bought all of the roads for this sort of countryside section. Corners seem to be a lot more prevalent. And I'm going to use two of these really large 48 by 48 base plates as well, and have that ride sort of mounted above those three and the first section of the big ones. And I'm going to use all sorts of cheap, large bricks, discoloured bricks, and all sorts to hold it all up. So there's loads of big things there. So I'm going to make loads and loads of stilts and park that on top of that. Now, one of the most interesting things about having a Lego City and a Lego channel is that in the morning you think that you're going to be installing a pirate themed roller coaster ride into your theme park or fairground, and it turns out you don't. You end up using virtually all your large bricks as support for a completely different ride, and you don't end up making the progress you thought you might. But anyway, let's get on with it. It's not going to do it itself. So I've used absolutely loads of bricks and discoloured bricks and odd bricks and all that to basically act as a solid support with the cavity underneath, which will be completely empty, to support all of these 16 by 16 sort of plates that make up the base. And there should be one big one on each corner, and then there'll be kind of a bit of a brace in the middle and at the sides as well. So hopefully that's supported enough on all sides so that it's not going anywhere. And if this is overkill when I actually get to it, I might remove some of them. But essentially, that great big square there is going to go on top of that great big square there. And they are the same size, apart from a little bit sort of hanging off that side that will be hanging off over the edge as well. So that's going to be really difficult to lift on and push down. I'm hoping I don't have to do it in sections. I really don't know how it's going to work, quite frankly. I'm not looking forward to it. Wish me luck. It's part on. It would help if this thing wasn't so fragile. Absolutely every single joint that you pick it up from just sort of comes apart in your hands, pulling up the track, pulling out the pillars. Ugh, so difficult. Good, good. We are almost on. We are definitely aligned and in the right position. I've just started pressing things down, but you can see I haven't pressed down all of them by any means. But it is sort of in the right position, and we've filled in the cavity as a result. I still think we must be able to get some sort of ride in there, or maybe, I don't know, trucks at least. That's the minimum. And I did have to take some of the plates off that end and sort of push them in a bit. It's a bit hard to explain, but you can see the bit where it's overhanging. That will need a new bit of base that I'll do afterwards, but it was a bit irregular on that end. So I've just pulled some of the pieces up and put them back again, 4 studs over. But yeah, right, I better get prodding all of that down so it's nice and firmly connected. And I think this might work. I suppose the proof of the pudding will be if the ride still goes, if it's sort of flat enough. Well, I've got it running now, just to test it while it's back to front. It's a lot easier to turn around, that's for sure, while it's now on these base plates. It's definitely the biggest ride that I've got elevated up by the 3 brick height now, I think you'll agree. Absolutely massive. But you forget how wonderful this ride is. There's so much detail from the back side as well, like all these signs above the gateways there. We've got the lost hat, of course. You can pretty much see that from everywhere. There's even a little frog pond back here, which is a very nice touch that you forget about. So yeah, I'll continue going around pushing this down. I've used this as an opportunity to give it a bit of a dust as well, because it was mucky. Well, the donated sheep are finally on the farm. I found them again today. So this time I made sure that I put them in rather than just put them to one side. Safe. But anyway, back to the roller coaster. It's fully pushed down. Yay! And it's pretty much used all of the bricks that I had for raising up the fairground. Boo! So I'm going to have to find a very cheap and cost-effective vendor that's got a lot of these big bricks that make it so easy, comparatively, to do that. And I've kind of partially answered my own question about removing this stuff from underneath the sort of where you get on and off this roller coaster, in that I really didn't like all the sort of handles and bits and bobs sticking out the front. So I've pulled them all off, and there was quite a lot actually. I kind of had to lift off the tan area here just to get at them all, just so you couldn't see all of those workings. And I think it looks a lot cleaner. Now I could go one step further and remove all this grey brick stuff that looks a bit too permanent, and maybe add some sort of tan stilts for these sort of arch ends. But then I'd probably have to continue something like this all the way along as well. Otherwise it'd look a bit weird. So I might be just blocking that out, because by the time I've got some sort of stalls here or something, you probably won't be able to see it. So I don't think that's too much of a problem. And one good thing about having it all on this level rather than on top of a tabletop itself is that the transition between this area and the next area will be absolutely seamless, because it'll all be on identically the same height. So that'll be fine. I only have to worry about the transition between the slightly higher window ledge area over there and this uniform level. So yeah, a lot of work to end up pretty much exactly where we started off. So I think what I'll do now is push this back into position, back against the wall, and then see what it would look like when we get the pirate coaster in as well. And that'll partially be a good check to see if there's actually enough space to do what I think I can do. And we can also see how close the sort of back end of it comes to all of this stuff. Might even get them both running, you never know. Well, the pirate coaster was what I was aiming to do today, but obviously things have gone a different route. But this is where I'm planning to put it, kind of at 90 degrees to the other one. And together they'll kind of form the edge of the fairground, kind of like a wall along that back edge there. And then this table over here will be more city. I'm still thinking the mine will be on the end, and that will link to an underground section that will be underneath this table. And then we'll have this road that's still here, with the row of tall buildings continuing along there, including the bugle conversion of the brick Nottingham post. And then kind of on this black bare table section where all the rides are waiting at the moment, we can have another sort of run of buildings all along there. So it will be both sides of that road in the middle. So yeah, that is the edge of the fairground, which means this is all the space I've got to fill. And wow, I've got quite a lot of bright green plates, but I'm thinking nowhere near enough now. I've had to use quite a few more on that build over there. Though having said that, there are quite a few already attached to rides. So, I mean, they've all got their own sort of bit of ground, and a lot of them have actually, for convenience, sort of used one to represent the base plate layer at the very bottom as well, sort of underneath. So it'll need that one, but that one will be built straight onto base plates. So I think I'll be able to salvage a few from there. But now I've used more base plates as well. I've only got 3 of these big ones, and I think I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got one there. Oh, and there's one on the Dodgems. So basically, I think I need 2 more. So I better get ordering that while we've got double VIP points, I think. Yeah, but you probably want to see both of these roller coasters going at the same time, don't you? So let's see if we can do that. Now, I think this is the rough position that they'll be at, and therefore the sort of closest that they'll come to each other will be about here. And let me just stop it and we'll see actually how close this one gets. Will it hit? Oh, that's close, isn't it? So that's quite fun. Now I think when it comes to it, this pirate coaster will be a little bit higher because obviously it's sat 3 bricks lower at the moment, but then I am going to actually take one of the levels of bricks off, so it'll probably be about 2 bricks higher than it currently is. And I think it'll just be great, won't it? I mean, imagine when we've not just got these 3 little snake-like cars running around these roller coasters, but imagine when we've got all of this area absolutely jam-packed with movement. It will just be amazing. So I think I need more of these big plates. I need loads more of those probably. And now I need a new supply of cheap support bricks as well. Nightmare. Okay, so I've moved this to one side now so I can start extending out the ground level. So that's more green plates coming out at the same level as the one we've just done, 3 plates above the base plate layer. I've put the other base plate here just with a 2 stud gap, just so it can be perfectly aligned with essentially that edge over there and the edge that is linking up with the subway over here and all the rest of it. So that's perfectly spaced on the tables. So then I'm going to continue this green level once I've got more bricks to support it all the way up to the edge. And then I'm going to start including some medium azure as well. Now the medium azure will be slightly lower down, maybe only 2 bricks higher than the base level rather than the full 3. And in that respect, it'll be very much like what we did on the Duckies ride, where we had a level that was slightly lower than the main ground level. And that will be where the splash part of our ride is, the pirate roller coaster. So all this sort of sand colour bricks that are on the base I'm going to remove. So basically, say that dark one will be attached directly onto the green plates, and therefore this bit will be 1 brick lower than that, and therefore will be on the medium azure bricks. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, and I've just got to kind of make the edge look interesting and sculpted, much like I did again on the Duckies ride there, with some sort of brown edging bricks. And that can either represent a hole that the carnies dug when they wanted to install this ride, or maybe it was a natural sort of pond or lake already as part of this land that is used for recreation purposes by the inhabitants of Brick Nottingham. Anyway, I'm sort of getting to the point where I'm running out of the ability to actually do any more. I'm going to have to order base plates and more bricks, and quite a few more of them from the cheapest person possible, I think, so I can make more progress. One thing I forgot to do last time was experiment with a different number of carriages on the car, on the pirate roller coaster. So I've actually just introduced a 4th one here, just an experiment, because if this thing is becoming more of a sort of conger eel rather than a shark, then, well, we can add as many sections as we want, really, can't we? So I think it's a worthwhile experiment. And the sort of thought is that if it's getting even more drive by being pushed kind of over this hill for longer, then basically it should get round even quicker and even more easily. So let's put the motor on, give it a shove, and we can see that that doesn't work at all. And that's the weird enigma that is these roller coasters. They just are so finely balanced, and this is with the more powerful gear and the motor sort of cranked up to 11, and it's nowhere near. So at least we know the answer to that riddle now. It will not work with 4 cars. It is a finely balanced machine. So yeah, let's not do that. Well, fast forward to the next day. It is officially now tomorrow. But we've got the same problem with regard to the fairground in that we've run out of bricks. So I decided to use this little break to place something else that we got in Brick Hall 100, which can now count as a vehicle of the week. And it's Baron Blomberg on his time machine, which is based on a Fabuland motorbike, which is really cool. So I like that. Thanks very much again for that. We'll keep that on the streets. He's obviously just come from another time and fortunately has appeared safely right next to a massive train line, so that's not too bad. But one thing I have done overnight since we left this situation, which looks very similar to how it did yesterday, I have actually made 2 orders. One with Lego shop at home, where I've bought the 2 large base plates like this one that we need to fill in the gap and make a lot more progress to fill all the rest of this section as well. But I've also done a bricklink order where I did a search for a lot of the pieces that we've been using already so far. So things like my bag of sort of miscellaneous sort of large arch pieces. I've got 67 new arches coming. All the big bricks that we've been using, like the 2x2x3 ones, which I find the most useful. And they've got 89 of those. So I'm hoping that that will probably cover a bit more. Maybe it'll last a lot longer because, much like we were saying with the green plates, a lot of all these rides have got their own supports underneath them as well, lots and lots of bricks. So hopefully they will, well, get us quite a bit further. But that is literally all I can do on this section for now. I have run out of bricks. I'm really glad I don't do any of the Mills plates or anything like that for my roads, because I think I'd be running out even more often, because that just uses a vast number of bricks. So anyway, we've made some progress, but maybe not as much as we hoped. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be finishing off the Daily Bugle building, I think, or the Daily Brick Nottingham Post rather building, which will be going over there, I think due to popular demand. Then on Wednesday, we can do a brick haul, and I've already received a package from one of you around the world to make that even better. And then Friday, I guess we'll be back here, hopefully with those new pieces. So, until all of that, see you